Damn. All right. Are we in there? It is 8:48 here in Middle America. Good morning, guys. Bob, K6UDA, doing the starting the live stream just a couple of minutes early. All right. Are we in there? Not coughing like I was last week. 8:48. Man, that was all bad. Here, a couple of days of misery. Good morning, guys. Bob, K6UDA. Oop, hang on. Doing the starting the live stream just a couple of minutes early. All right. Are we in there? Not coughing like I was last week. I got to get rid of that. Okay. Now, okay, that's not going out. That nice echo. Beautiful. Let's see. Good morning. Have to miss the net today. Yep. Okay. I will get NetLogger up here. And who wants to get logged in? I have KO8EOD in the log. Which Wires X room from the Kingdom? The Kingdom. It is 40448 is the Wires X room. Currently 5 nodes hooked up. They're pretty much the same 5 nodes that are always hooked up. But we'll do that. Got you in there, Terry. And also KD8IOK. I heard you in there. I was on the phone. We'll be starting in about 10 minutes officially. Okay. Now, I'm going to get some people logged in here into KJ7RAR in there. And who else? From Scotland. Holy crap. Ricky Turnbull from Scotland. We'll get you logged in there. GM0 VUY. That's awesome. Love getting some Scotland people in there. KO4 Pamela ESA is in the house. One of my Amcom brothers, the E Fisherman. Good morning, Eric. KJ7 GFE in the house. N3XUS from Kylene. Okay. Oh no, N3 XUS. Okay. And I am going to net official status. Terry, I just made you a net control or a net official. Hopefully I can still log. I don't know. We'll see. Set logger. All right. KJ7JYJ. KJ7JYJ. Jeff from Washington. Very cool. Very cool, my friends. Do we have a big show today? Or a big net? I don't know, man. It's stuff we've talked about before, kind of. But it's important. I see things. I kind of see things happening a little differently. I used to think, this is what I used to think, that and I could talk right now because I'm not on the radio. All you guys are on the, and we're going to dump this. KB7DFP, okay. Look at that. So the 44200 repeater is up and running now on here. Doug, W6DUG. I'm going to log Doug in. W6DUG is in the house because I just saw him log in on Wires X. Terry, if you're watching on YouTube, try logging somebody in and see what happens, because I made you a net control. Anyway, guys, I used to think that when shit happens and it gets real bad, that I would be able to basically turn on the HF machine, kind of dial around, and maybe some of the rag chewing that we normally hear would turn in. Let's see. Can't find 40448 on Wires X. I don't know, man. It's there. Look up Idaho Command for the Kingdom. Look up Idaho Command. I am beginning to doubt that people would give, and what I'm looking for, what I would really hope is that if bad shit happens, if the grid goes down, the whatever goes down, that we would be able to turn on an HF machine, dial around, and have somebody giving out relevant news and information. Whatever it is, whether, it's about the power situation in their area, about food availability or whatever. I would hope that would happen, that we would get some situational reports from around the country, because I know we absolutely cannot rely on our government to or our media to give us real information. They're going to give us bullshit information, and it just is. So anyway, this is about kind of us maybe helping each other, talking about getting that intel on the radio. Pamela, I saw you were sitting in the VE test today with all your cert material. Doug is in the house. Click on connect to enter 40448. Yep. There you go. KG7ALS, 17 thumbs up so far. 51 people actually on the net, and we haven't even started the net. Got 2 more minutes. So tell me, what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Am I full of shit here? Am I just off my rocker? Should we even be using ham radio to inform each other, to get the word out, and to help our fellow hams, even our fellow non-hams, just our fellow citizens, to get real news and information from wherever? I mean, I take things like Texas. What is happening at the border right now? Right now we're in good times. And during good times, we're still getting a little bit of information, if you're watching the right news outlets. And that's really not MSNBC, CNN, or even Fox for that matter. It's time to go. Time to do this. All right, guys. 49 people, 22 thumbs up. Let's get those going. I'm going to get my... Okay, I need to get... There we go. As soon as I start. Great. There we go. All right. Good morning from the Southern Idaho Command. And this is Bob, K6UDA. I want to welcome everybody to the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. This net meets every Saturday morning at 0900 hours Mountain Time on the K6UDA repeater located here in Twin Falls, Idaho. This is a digital-only net accessible via Wires X Room 40448. That is the Idaho Command. Or on YSF Reflector 56026. That's the YouTuber's YSF Reflector. Locally here in town, available on the Hanson Butte 2-meter fusion repeater 145.17, and on analog, crossover analog on 442.00. The purpose of this net is the free exchange of information related to emergency preparedness, commonly known as prepping. We encourage deep dives into subjects related to food, water, shelter, personal protection, weapons, survival tactics, medical issues, communication gear, and techniques. I'm looking for subject matter experts to lead discussions on various subjects. If you have material you'd like to present or discuss, when you check in, please indicate you have a subject. Although not primarily political, discussion of relative political, cultural, or religious events are welcome in the context of situational awareness and survival. In order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, I'm going to do check-ins and comments in the following order, generally, unless we don't have a lot. Local repeater check-ins, then Wires X, then YSF, then I will get to some of the live stream comments. You're encouraged to check in with your first name, call sign, location, how you're getting into the net, i.e. local repeaters, Wires X, or YSF. That being said, do we have any local check-ins? How about Wires X check-ins?
Bob, this is W6BUG, coming from you, a PD CDN mode in Wires X from the Free State of Arizona. I am Portland.
Doug, thanks for checking in. Thanks for always being there and all your participation. Any other Wires X check-ins?
KD8IOK, Jeff, Yuma, Arizona.
All right, Jeff, got you in there, and thank you for all your participation. More Wires X check-ins, and I'll take locals too. All right, how about YSF check-ins?
Papa W5JAP Jim from Abilene, Texas.
All right, W5JAP. James from Abilene, got you in there. And thanks for being with us. Other YSF.
KN6EVQ, Mark from California.
All right, KN6EVQ. Mark got you in there from California. And guys, if you want to, you can either download or fire up your copy of NetLogger and look for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. We're in there and logging from there. Let me open it up one more time. Anybody, anywhere, check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net.
This is Kilo Oscar 4, Oscar India Bravo in St. Pete, Florida. Name's Jerry.
B. All right, Jerry, we got you in there. Thanks for joining the net. Anybody else? Anywhere?
KD8LGZ, Shell, Wires X from Arizona.
KD. All right, KD8LGC. Is that Gary or Jerry?
Shell, CHEL.
Okay, got you in there. Let me just confirm your call. KD8LGC.
KD8LGZ, Z as in Zulu.
That's why you had a guy's name in front of you. All right, last call for check-ins this round. Okay, and I would also like to acknowledge a couple of my friends from AmCon. There's a few people from the Southern Oregon chapter of AmCon in the house on the live stream here that I see. And thank you guys for being part of the net. I joined AmCon last month and having a good time, learning a lot. I'm actually learning quite a bit being part of the group, and it is a good group. I will talk more about that. Well, not today, but if you're looking for a group that can help you with your prepping, with your comms, with a community, it's a good place to look. I'm going to let this drop. Okay. Before we get into before we get into what we started last week, do we have any old business from anybody in the house? Okay, well, with no old business, I kind of started this on the live stream. I want to talk about today using radio as an intel device. Some of the possible things that we could be talking about in an SHTF. Yes, there we go. I screw that up every time. I've screwed that up for years when I say that. In a crap hits the fan situation of any kind. And I'll tell you what, guys, California is going through a crap hits the fan right now. They've been going through it. They had hurricane force winds. So that could be your crap hits the fan. Doesn't have to be grid down, anything like that. It could be as simple as you lost your job. And this is why, it's nice to have a little bit of food stored up. But anyway, I digress. Talking about a bigger picture thing, kind of the what ifs. Power outages. They could be localized. They're normally very localized here in southern Idaho, 30 minutes to maybe a day. And that's usually something like somebody hits a telephone pole and puts the power out in a neighborhood. And then you can have the things like the regional power outages, the PG&E public safety shutoffs, like what's happening in California right now, due to flooding, due to the rains, due to the winds that they had a couple of days ago. The power could be shut off for a day. It could be shut off for a week. You don't know. And then there could be things like martial law, possibility of total internet outages, more likely things like internet outages. The government has the ability to limit different IP addresses and limit social apps like Zello, Telegram, Twitter, Facebook. They could shut those things down and make only critical things available to us if they wanted to. They can also limit things like cell phones to only 911 calls, leaving us kind of in the dark. Remember in 9/11, certain users, and I was in law enforcement, I had my cell phone through a government contract, my personal cell phone through a government contract. When everybody else's cell phones were ringing busy, I was able to call. I was able to call anybody I needed to, anybody I wanted to, and it would work because I had a different level of access. So I know that firsthand from 9/11, and I think their system has only gotten better since then, so they could control it a lot easier. Let's see. Sat phones and GPS systems during an emergency or something like martial law, they could bring those systems down. They could definitely take down sat phones, so those wouldn't work. They could literally take the GPS system down. So your Garmin devices wouldn't work, your Apple devices wouldn't work. The only problem is civilian aircraft, a lot of those wouldn't work either. And if they did that all of a sudden, when they grounded 9/11 or grounded all the aircraft at 9/11, if they had taken down the GPS system at the same time, you would have quite a bit of crashing. And that wouldn't be good. So they've got to kind of work within that. Got a little bit of news just came in. I'm going to break for that. Oop. All right. We got a 4.6 earthquake in California, I guess just happened. So those of you in California, 4.6, not huge, but definitely you guys felt it out there. And yeah, I got to remember to be a little lighter on the mic here so I don't drop out and hit my thing. Then we've got the EMP. EMPs and solar flares. You can have widespread internet, cell phone, power grid disruptions affecting regional, national, worldwide. The impact can be absolutely catastrophic from those. Just so you know. So anyway, I wanted to talk about staying informed in the event of all those different kinds of events. Let's talk about first the neighborhood, the power outage in the neighborhood. Maybe your cell phones aren't working. Maybe other things aren't working. Maybe you hear the sirens down the street. Good Intel devices are your ham radio, GMRS licenses, FRS licenses. If you're in a neighborhood and you're kind of connected and maybe other people in the neighborhood are on board with you, you can get your news via something as simple as a GMRS handheld. That and we're talking, hey, what is going on down the street? Hang on here, I gotta choose the line spacing. Okay, I just had to fix my my thing. Getting intel from just down the street or around the corner using simple things, handhelds, local repeaters, GMRS, FRS, any of that stuff can work in that neighborhood outage or that neighborhood incident, let's say. So something a little bit more intense would be that regional power outage. Maybe the entire city is out, or your entire area is out. Now you're talking ham repeaters, GMRS repeaters could be used to get news and information about what's going on in the city. Remember, if there's something that's going on citywide or regional, chances are local TV might be out, like they were at least the first couple of times in those PG&E public safety shutoffs. Everything went down. I remember the first one I was in California. After 8 hours, the cell phone towers went down, so cell phones were out in the area. Ham repeaters went down because they ran out of battery power. TV stations, you weren't able to get television because your power was out. Maybe the TV station's power was out too, and they couldn't get on the air. So news and information from that way really didn't work. So now we're left with ham, GMRS, if those things are still working. James on the live stream, he chimes in with, for those that already have GMRS but want more capabilities without a ham license, better coordination with large groups. Mesh-tastic is an interesting option, and that is something that I'm just now starting to explore. Is the mesh-tastic groups. You could create your own ad hoc networks without internet or without the real internet, but you can exchange information. Not exactly sure how they all work, but this is something that, again, AmCon is exploring as an organization and at these regional levels. Let's see. What kind of information can you get on, through GMRS repeaters, ham repeaters, or even just listening to those things? Intel. You could possibly get official information coming from EOCs. You could get unofficial information. You could get in things like, are they bringing in busloads of illegals and housing them at a local school? You could get things, and Doug, I'll get to your question in just a second. You could get things on food availability, open air markets if everything is down and it's kind of a grid down situation. A lot of local and regional information can be had. You can also, if bad guys are using radios to talk amongst each other, you could listen in. Just like they'll be listening in on you, you can listen in on them. Doug, W6DUG, you have a question.
Well, yes, I do, Bob. Thanks. Yeah, I agree with you on the GMRS as a not only a backup, but with your neighbors who are not hams, I think it's a great way to communicate with your local area. My question is, and I've tried to do some research and can't seem to find the answer, what are the requirements for adding a GMRS repeater? I know that putting up the ham repeater is very intensive with FCC, but what about the GMRS repeaters? Anybody have any information on that?
Well, I do know somebody locally here, Lance, KB7SQS, who runs several repeaters, ham repeaters in the area. He also runs one or two GMRS repeaters. And as far as I know, if you have a GMRS license, there's nothing to stop you from throwing up a GMRS repeater. And if Lance is monitoring, maybe he wants to jump in. If anybody else on the net has any information on starting or running a GMRS repeater, key now. Okay, I guess we have no official first-hand knowledge or first-hand word right now. I'll try to find that out for you, Doug, and maybe we'll run that in our unfinished business section for next week. Other things nationwide. Now you're starting to talk about HF, and if the Chinese invade the southern coast of California, if there's a major takeover of a seaport or whatever, maybe we get some information coming directly from the West Coast on that, or other areas. If there's other things going on, I imagine if we got invaded by a foreign entity, we would it would probably not just be in one location. I imagine it would take the form of an occupation somewhere, or a invasion, hard invasion somewhere. Left coast, right coast, maybe in conjunction with limited EMP detonations. And then we get to the, worldwide things. What's going on? Maybe we get reports of a nuclear attack somewhere in the Middle East, or Russia's moving troops into NATO countries, or even a major eruption of Yellowstone, the super volcano. Those would be worldwide events, and I think I'm going to let it unkey. I think in those cases, getting information, I would hope that people would be putting out some news and information. I mean, not like official news, but if you're in an area where you are experiencing something, and you can put that information out on the radio to warn the rest of us. Tell us, hey, at this point they're telling us to get underground or to do whatever. I think we need to have a method of getting that intel amongst ourselves. And I think using radio is going to be the only way. I'm going to let it unkey. All right, John Edward on the live stream says, in an escalating local regional crisis or worse, 911 radio nets on VHF, UHF attempt to stay on the air. Also, 3 megahertz, 30 to 50 megahertz emergency service radio nets, except encrypted 911 are good intel sources by scanners. Great information. Fire is, fire dispatches and fire, they're still mainly on analog. Good sources of local intel. Peter Gamby, he says you can build portable GMRS repeaters pretty easily, very inexpensively, with a couple of used Motorola radios. Let's see. And a couple of guys talking about getting into or setting up portable GMRS repeaters. And I think that's a great option, especially doing them mobile. So if you've got to move in a hurry, you can do that. Great information coming over the live stream right now. So if you've got the ability to get on the live stream and check that stuff out, that would be pretty beneficial. Does anybody have anything so far? All right. As much as I would love to think that people, that we would be able to turn on our radios and get information from across the country, from 2 states over, I have serious doubts about it right now. I think, especially in the case of, say, a martial law, that guys would just shut up. They wouldn't get on the radio. They wouldn't stick their necks out for anybody else. I don't know. I personally would plan to do what I can to keep my friends, my neighbors, my fellow hams informed as much as I could. There's other things that we're doing in AmCon that is kind of cool. AmCon is running local and regional nets, HF nets, and some of them are done on digital modes, which is very, very cool. Things like a JS8 call, which I'm just learning now. JS8 call has a fairly robust method of sending out information that you could basically send out news and information digitally across HF and get the word out. It might even be better and more efficient than sending it out over voice. Let's see. Alan B. Yes, this is K6UDA. I will ID myself, but I am IDing myself every time I key up this radio, because it is on digital and it is sending out my my ID every time I do. Let's see. Be Calm says, what about longer range beyond repeater nets like NVIS for regional areas? Very good idea. NVIS is very easy to set up. NVIS antennas. You don't have to have them up very high at all to get the word out on 80 meters, 75 meters, 40 meters especially. 40 meters works day and night. 80 meters mainly during the night. Very, very limited and susceptible to just daylight QRM. So James says, with Meshtastic, you can have encryption, and as a ham, with all our different receiving capabilities, you could relay collected intel to non-ham friendlies over the secure mesh network. How cool is that? Now, the only issue I could possibly see with a Meshtastic network is EMP or some kind of a big solar flare, Carrington thing. Could wipe out computers that are online or that are turned on. I don't know. I know you guys will come up with some solutions other than keep everything in a Faraday cage. Because as long as it's in the Faraday cage, you can't use it. Let's see. What else? My vision is we create some kind of nets. We create our own nets. If the rest of the world doesn't want to listen, fantastic, whatever. The word may get out to them eventually. But we need to do something ourselves. This is an example of doing something ourselves. We've created this net. We've got, let's see, 66 people online right now watching, and times are good. I understand that. We could do that. But we've got 10 nodes hooked up on radio. And again, times are good. The internet's up. Things are working. Hopefully, even under a let's call it a economic crash, or a social collapse, I would think that the government, if they just shut off the internet, it would. I hate to say it, but with our population today, I think people would go mental in the streets. I think the government uses the internet to its advantage. Of it keeps people kind of glued to their phones. It keeps them from associating with outside groups, other people, and keeps things manageable for them. So my opinion, minus something just completely catastrophic, I think the government would keep the internet running to a certain degree. They might shut off a lot of these social apps, especially if they think people will organize using social apps. What I don't think the government will really think about is things like DMR, Wires X, some of these more obscure things. It might leave these avenues of us connecting intact, just because maybe they don't think about it. Let's see. KJ says, we are connecting ham radio repeaters and testing simplex comms in northwest Montana and North Idaho. KJ7SIR. Awesome. That is very, very cool stuff to be going on. Does anybody else have anything? Okay. It kind of runs me out of material. I don't know. Does anybody else have any other topics that they want to discuss today? We got 10 nodes up on the radio. I don't know how many people may be listening on YSF or local repeaters. Anybody, anywhere, anything. Doug finds it hard to believe I have nothing to say. Well, I got plenty to say, but Alan B asks, so what was last week's topic? This was last week's topic. I got about 5 minutes in, and I was sick, and I was coughing and hacking, and I couldn't get 2 sentences out. So we quit last week. I went to bed, and we're back today discussing the same thing, so you didn't miss anything. All right. Let's see. I really don't have anything else that I prepared. I know it's winter, and I know a lot of us live in places where we don't want to go outside. We don't want to go. We don't want to go shooting. I'm a big 2A advocate. I'll do this real quick, and then I'm really out of stuff. Oh, K6UDA for the sad hams. Getting something to train with on your firearms, say indoors, I think is a big deal. I've got a couple of things called a Mantis X that I can attach to a handgun, and then I can cycle the handguns empty and practice draw and fire with a lot of feedback from my phone. It measures a lot of things. It does all kinds of stuff. This isn't a review, but it's something that I use. And then I just picked up called a Mantis Blackbeard, and that is a bolt replacement system that goes in an AR. And for those of you that can have ARs, I can then it'll cycle the gun. It'll cycle the trigger, and I can use that to train again indoors. Couple of things that I've found, and I just kind of wanted to mention them. And with that, I am now officially out of material for today. Yeah, we've been on for 45 minutes. Anybody else have anything, topics, anything that they want to discuss? Great comment here from Edward John. How to transition between local UHF, VHF nets to HF, longer distance, statewide, or national nets. Great idea. And I kind of think that goes along with, is this emergency a local emergency? Is it a local event? Is it a regional event? Or is it something that is national? And I think that kind of dictates the level of radio that we're gonna be using. I don't know. What say you, everybody? All right. Maybe nobody's getting this on the radio. Okay. Any final check-ins? I'm going to run back over to NetLogger here, and any last-minute check-ins, and then I guess we'll go ahead and close out the radio portion of the net.
K88IOK for a comment.
Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Bob, I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do. I realize there hasn't been a lot of participation today. I'm guilty as well. Kind of a subject that I'm dry on myself, so I don't have a lot to contribute. But I want to make sure that everybody out there that's listening and watching realizes how much effort you put into this, because for the presentation that I did a few weeks ago, I spent a good 2 days researching information and writing an outline and studying it, practicing it, and everything else. And I just want to make sure that the world realizes how much you're doing as a volunteer to make this net successful and educational for everybody. And I just personally wanted to say thank you for all of your hard work. It's really appreciated, at least on this end.
Jeff, thank you. That's awesome. And yeah, guys, this does take planning and a lot of preparation. I don't just get on here and start talking. I do. I got to research this stuff. It takes me days during the week to put these things together every week. So I would really love for the rest of you guys, both online and on the radio, to send me some ideas. to come up with these nets, to come up with material. If you've got a question, I think somebody wanted to do something on night vision, and I mean, I guess I could show off my night vision. I'm not an expert in night vision. I use it, and I use it 2 or 3 times a year, really, to practice with. I'm gonna let this drop. And, I want to say to those that might not be hams, that might be watching this or might watch this on a replay, the toys like nice guns, night vision, plate carriers, all the toys that people like to play with, you use that stuff once in a great while. The night vision, for me, I mean, I own it. I use it a couple of times a year. The radio, which this is a bone of contention with me. People go out and buy Baofangs, and they think that they're good. They're big preppers or they're operators. They go out and buy a bunch of Baofangs, and they think, okay, now I've got it. I'm all complete. Well, you've invested $20 into something that you'll probably use every day during an event, as opposed to you spend $3,000 to $5,000 on a piece of equipment that you might use unless there isn't a real event and you're standing a post at night. You won't use that more than a couple of times a year for practice. My opinion. Anyway, any other questions, comments, or anything?
Comment, Bob.
Doug, go ahead.
Thanks, Bob. I just wanted to ditto what Jeff had mentioned about, appreciating the hard work that goes into putting this on. I wanted you to know that, even though people aren't necessarily responding, I know that I have about a half page of notes here to do some further research after we go off the air here. And so it isn't all wasted. I've got a lot of information from other people and from you, and appreciate all the time and effort that you put into this. W6DUG.
Well, thanks, Doug. Yeah, I do this. I guess it's, it's kind of selfish, but I want to build a community. I don't have so much a community right here in the Twin Falls area. Tell you what, and I'm going to plug them again, AmCon, that is the thing. They are building the community. And I really want you guys to look at whether you want to join AmCon or not. Find out about some of these organizations that can help you. We're all looking for that tribe, and that's a big thing. Anyway, I'm going to take any last minute check-ins or comments, and then I'm going to close the radio portion of the net. All right. With that, my friends, thank you for joining us here on the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net, live from the Southern Idaho Command. And we'll see you all next week. I am Bob, K6UDA, returning all these repeaters and all the nodes to their normal ham radio operation. Thanks. Okay. Yep. Amcon. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh. The net is... Looks like the net has been... knocked off. Or the net logger. So... we can blow that out, and I'll come back to you guys over here. Yeah, Amcon, American Contingency, cool organization. As a matter of fact, the E Fisherman is the guy, I believe, who originally sent me an email and said, hey, check these guys out. And I did, and I was impressed, and I joined them, and I'm getting involved. I'm getting fairly heavily involved with them. And I'm a member. I didn't get a freebie. It's not like they, said, hey, come join us and we'll do special stuff for you. No, I joined, I paid my dues, and I'm getting involved, and I'm trying to start a Twin Falls area tribe. I call it a tribe, but they call it a group or a chapter. If you're in the Twin Falls area, if you're in the Magic Valley, and you want to know more about it, get a hold of me. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Let's see. Melt 7-3. He's out. Jeff, I wonder if they got a surplus of new members after you mentioned it on the net a few weeks ago. I don't know. I don't know if it's because of me. I do notice new members coming in. I don't know how big of a reach this has. I mean, this is still a pretty small reach. I know we've been, I just saw 90 people online, and now it's down to 77 because I think people are dropping out. End of the show. I get it. Not a huge reach. This show, this net, and I kind of like it that way. I think we've got people who are more committed to doing this. I don't want to talk to the sad hams. I don't want to talk to the people who have the communist way of thinking. And honestly, I don't call them liberals. I call them communists because that's how they believe. When they call us racists, I call them pedophiles because that's it. That's what they are. If they want to believe in that whole end of the spectrum, fuck them. They're pedophiles. Let's see. The CUCV farmer What would be cheap mate radios, mid-grade, and top-end radios? Explain to people just getting into ham radios. That's something that I do on the ham radio, on the K6UDA show all the time. As a matter of fact, working on a review of another, I'll call them entry-level radios, or I don't even want to call them that. Let's call them affordable radios, because I get it. A lot of people out there can't afford a $400 or $500 handheld radio. They don't want to. They don't want to jump in and buy something that is a couple of $100 if they don't know how to use it. They're more comfortable. Everybody's comfortable spending $20, $50. And I get it. And I don't discourage people from getting the Baofeng, from getting the $20 radio. It's a good radio to have as a backup. It's a good radio to have on your outings where, you know, the thing may fall off into the mud. It may fall off a cliff and you lose $20. Oh, well, you know, I say good on that, but they're not clean radios. They're much harder to program. They just are. And they don't do as much. They're a basic radio. Let's see, 10 o'clock. I got a guy coming over to help me do some electrical work, so I am, yeah, okay, is he not here? Yeah. Okay. So I got a guy coming to help me do some electrical work out in the barn. So I'm going to go ahead and say 7-3 to y'all. Thanks for joining me. We'll get on. Maybe we'll do, I don't know, some more live shows, talk about some more stuff. Again, leave a comment if you're watching this on the playback. Leave a comment on topics you guys want to talk about. I'm always asking, but there's a reason I'm always asking. I want to talk about what you guys want to know about. And if there's one of you that has one question, there's 10 others that don't ask the question, that have the same question, want to know the same answer. Anyway, guys, thanks. I see you. Anyone on 56026? Can't hear anyone on. Oh, it may go down. Yes. The YSF side may go down. Well, at least on the repeater here. And I don't hear. Oh, yeah. Steel Wolf. You can't hear anybody on 56026 because I don't hear anybody on the repeater. I shut that part of the net down. I'm just talking to you guys. Anyway, I will catch you guys later. I'm Bob, K6UDA, 7-3, my friends.